time Texas and Texas A&M meet, it can get a little spicy and it can be a huge rivalry.
It is one of the most heated rivalries in all of college sports.
Now the time has come.
The series is going to be fun.
The energy, the fans. Aggies don't like to go to Austin because you're in enemy territory.
You got to do it today.
It's the highest level of competition.
You got to do what it takes.
Everybody is out to win.
To leave the hunger inside.
Who's going to be the best team in Texas?
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Austin, Texas is the site of this renewal of one of the great rivalries in all of college sports. The Lone Star Showdown pitting two top 15 teams. It's the Aggies and the Longhorns, who have already won 2 games in this series. Game 1, it was Vivi Martinez, 4 for 4, 2 bombs, and the game-winning run, and a 9-8 walk-off in the bottom of the 7th. In Game 2, Reese Atwood, the reigning National Catcher of the Year, shined at the plate and behind it. And Tegan Cavan for the second day in the series with a shutdown 7th to seal the win. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, the former Aggie All-American, Amanda Scarborough with you. And really, the first 2 games of this series have tracked with the theme that we've seen over the last decade. 9 out of the last 10 games in this series played here have been decided by 2 runs or less. And this year, Amanda, Texas has really shined in those tight games.
Yeah, and in this week specifically, I mean, they played 3 one-run games going back to their midweek against Texas State, and so they've had 3 close games. And it's what they've done all year. They're 6-0 in games decided by 2 runs or less. And on the other hand, A&M is 2-8 in those games, including the 2 in this series. So Texas doing the little things right. It's what you have to do in a top 15 ranked against a top 15 ranked opponent, but it's also what you have to do against your rival to get wins.
The thing for Texas, they returned 8 starters from last year's World Series championship team. It's the veterans that have really shined this weekend for the Longhorns.
Yeah, this is a core group that has been together for many years, and their veterans are showing up. Vivi Martinez in Game 1, she was really the MVP for Texas, went 4 for 4, 4 extra base hits, including 2 home runs, her first 2 home runs of the season. And Reese Atwood, she was great back behind the plate, was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, and that 1 home run that she hit ended up being the game-winning run for Texas. She was MVP in Game 2.
Really, for Texas, their defense was what shined. In this series, Texas A&M's offense has done everything you could ask of them if you're Tricia Ford, and you'd look at those numbers, not knowing anything else about the series, man, and think, well, surely A&M's up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, they've hit well as a team, hit well with runners on, hit well and better than Texas with 2 outs, but it was the small things, defense in Game 1, some defensive mistakes, and base running mistakes in Game 2 that gave Texas the edge.
Tegan Cavan makes her 3rd appearance of the series in the circle, her 2nd start, and the first pitch is upstairs.
Now the All-American getting the ball, her 2nd start of the series for Texas, and you see she's pitched 12 innings against A&M in her career, going back to that 2024 Super Regional and going back to Game 1 where she got the start against them on Friday night. They hit her around a little bit, a career 7.0 ERA against A&M in her career.
Aggies offense scored 8 runs on Texas pitching, including, of course, Tegan Cavan on night 1. Maya Perez put in the 2-hole for the first time this season in this series, and it's worked for A&M. Texas has pitched to her, which has not been the usual case throughout the course of the year. 2-2 count to the leadoff hitter Kennedy Powell, who's having a phenomenal senior year, has reached base in 38 consecutive games dating back to her junior season. And sharply hits the 2-2 off the 3rd baseman J.C. Nichols. Stays put at first base. Now going to try to get up to 2nd on a bobble by Leanne Good. That is heady base running for a team that lacked in that department yesterday.
Well, and it was how A&M started out in Game 1 as well, with Kennedy Powell getting on base. A&M has actually scored first in the top of the 1st inning in both of these games in this series, and it starts at the top of the offense for A&M with Kennedy Powell having an All-American type year with her speed and just how dynamic that she is, and quickly gets herself into second base into scoring position. And the key hitting off of Tegan Cavan is to manage her rise ball. They're going to see a lot of her rise ball in this game. It is her go-to pitch. It has been her go-to pitch since she was a freshman and an ace on the staff and just an electric rise ball thrower. 69, 70 miles an hour up in the zone. And for A&M to have success against Tegan Cavan, they have to understand the strike zone and make her bring that rise ball more on the plate and more down in the zone.
Maya Perez struck out swinging in the 7th yesterday against Cavan. Rolls this to first. It does push Powell up to third. One down in the first.
Her rise ball is so much to deal with, but also worked on her drop ball later on in her career, so she can split the zone vertically, throws 71 miles an hour with both her drop and her rise. But her changeup is the difference maker down in the zone. She can have that 5-inch vertical break down with her drop ball and give these hitters a different look. Again, that rise ball has been her MO. It is a pitch that she by far throws the most, but the development of her drop ball and a changeup that's been in her back pocket since her freshman year has made her so tough to hit because she can stay down too.
Just off the edge, a 1-1 count to Ariel Kowalewski, the Florida transfer. Batting in the 3-hole for an A&M offense that's hit .782 with a runner at third this year and less than 2 outs. They have been opportunistic, and this is sent over the head of Caden Henry. It will score Powell easily, and a 1-out double for Ariel Kowalewski.
Matt, with the way that A&M lost on Friday when they led essentially the entire game and then another 1-run loss in yesterday's game, it would be really easy to show up in game 3 and not know what you're going to get out of an A&M team. Are they going to be crushed because they've lost 2 close ones, or are they going to show up and try to win this one? Huge statement on the road, rivalry game to say we are going to try not to get swept, and we're going to put another run on the board in the first.
Wark sends this deep to left center, headed towards the wall. It's gone. Michaela Wark makes it a 3-0 start for the Aggies. Whoa.
Tegan Cavan in her starts against A&M has just given up runs. Wark sits back on that changeup. It's out over the plate. She's not fooled at all. Wark has had such a great series against Texas. Coming over from Oklahoma State, this is her first A&M Texas rivalry matchup to compete in. She has an RBI, at least one, in every game of the series.
From the state of Texas, as so many in this rivalry game are. In fact, 26 combined players between the two teams from the Lone Star State, relishing this opportunity. Her 15th home run, that's top 20 in the nation. And again, for the 3rd consecutive game in this series, Amanda, A&M strikes first.
So interesting to look at Cavan's outings in this series. In game 1, she got the start, got pulled, and actually came back into relief to finish the game. And then we saw her in yesterday's game late in the game, and we even called her the Hammer because when she came in relief in game 1 and in game 2, she absolutely shut A&M down. But in her starts, they have seen her well, had quality at bats, and it started with Kennedy Powell both times to set the tone and lay off the rise like that.
Talon Edwards, speaking of Oklahoma State transfers, digs in with 1 down and the base is clear. You talked about the deceptiveness of Cavan, the ability to mix her pitches, go high, go low, keep hitters off balance. No Texas pitcher really has been able to keep A&M off balance in this series.
You really think about it, again, going back over the course of the past 3 years to 2024, which was Tricia Ford's 2nd year as a head coach of A&M, they have hit Texas pitching very well. Run ruled them in the SEC tournament the one time that they faced him. Tegan Cavan did not pitch in that game in the SEC tournament last year. And she gets a strikeout there, but it just seems like A&M is consistently prepared for Tegan Cavan and Texas pitchers. This is a low rise here that Tegan Cavan is able to throw and get a chase from Talon Edwards. That's just a great location, not too high, not too low, exactly at a height that she wants to spot that pitch for a swing and miss, a little bit out of the zone.
2 down for Kelsey Mathis. Jumped into the starting lineup in center field over the last 2.5 weeks and has been very solid both at the plate and in the outfield since that transition into the starting lineup. It's an A&M team that is seeking just its 4th ranked win of the season. They have been so close in so many games.
Well, you know what the difference, I mean, we could probably speak about 3 or 4 difference makers for really what one game comes down to, but when you looked at the stats, game 1 where they scored 8 runs against Texas, they had multiple extra base hits, including multiple home runs. In game 2, yesterday, it was just a lot of singles and base running mistakes, which definitely didn't help out their case to take extra bases because Texas's defense was so good with their throws and picking them off, especially Reese Atwood back behind the plate.
0-2. So much newness this year, Mathis included, for A&M. 4 returning starters, only one of them is playing in the same regular starting position that they did last year, and that's the third baseman Kennedy Powell. Mathis goes down, and Cavan bounces back for back-to-back strikeouts after a Michaela Wart 2-run bomb.
Her second home run of this series puts A&M on top with a 3 spot, the most runs that they've scored in the first inning in this series.
Back in Austin, Texas, Kate Marlin will take the hill with a 3-run lead in the bottom of the first. Second time we'll see her, Amanda, in this series.
Yeah, so we saw Sydney Lessentine start game 1 and game 2 for Texas. For A&M. We thought we were to see the other Sydney Peters, who's kind of the co-ace in the staff. So a bit of a surprise here to see Kate Munnerlin, the lefty, get the start that usually comes in for middle relief or late in games, but Kate Munnerlin getting a start through pretty well in game 1 when she came into relief for a couple of innings on Friday.
Texas, as we mentioned, brings back so much returning talent from last year's Women's College World Series team, Atwood and Stewart included. Nearly 70% of their offensive production is back, and they are top 10 in a host of categories, including batting average and runs scored.
It's a very good offense. Power, speed, dynamic. They have the experience. 1 through 9, this lineup is just so tough.
Caden Henry sharply hit. KK Dement fields it. 1 down.
course, Munnerlyn going to come from the left-hand side, and she has a fantastic changeup. She'll throw it 34% of the time. I mean, that's a high percentage for a changeup. Usually you see that high would be like 15 to 20%. So she's throwing it at a 34% clip. Learned a rise ball and developed it in the off-season. And there's that changeup right there at 55 miles an hour, but it's kind of shifted how she came in to A&M as a freshman with being able to develop that rise ball and add it on top of that nasty change.
Tossed the program's first perfect game in over 2 decades against Kennesaw State earlier during the non-conference slate. Former Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of California. Ahead in the count to Leanne Good, 1-2. Leanne Good's had a big series in more ways than one. Picked up a golden ticket yesterday. She will be drafted in the upcoming 2026 AUSL Pro Draft alongside her teammate Reese Atwood.
And you could tell that Leanne Good was surprised. I think everybody assumed that Reese Atwood, who was one of the top players, if not the best catcher in the country as a senior, was going to get drafted, but Leanne Good sneaking in there with her own.
Nice glove work from Munnerlyn, 2 up, 2 down. There does seem to be a professional approach and a professionalism to this Texas Longhorns softball team this year, Amanda. Vivi Martinez exudes professionalism. And this group has won 29 straight games. That is the longest active streak in the country. It's also a program record. Their lone loss coming all the way back on February 7th to Nebraska.
I think that Vivi Martinez likely learned a lot with having missed last season due to a knee injury after being an everyday starter for Texas at shortstop. And she just has such a beautiful left-handed swing. It's one of my favorite things, I think, in the game is when a lefty steps up with that beautiful, natural left-handed power swing. Just is, I don't know, I was a right-handed, more power hitter, and the lefties just have it. I don't know, it's way better when a lefty does it than a righty does it. And Vivi has one of those beautiful swings.
2-1 from Munnerlyn. Martinez riding an 8-game hit streak, including, of course, the 4-for-4 Game 1 performance. Has 2 homers in the series, 8 runs batted in during the 8-game win streak, 8-game hitting streak.
Which has been within a long win streak for Texas during that time and beyond.
Thanks for cleaning that up, Paul.
Yeah.
That's a 2-out walk for Martinez. And it extends the inning for the great Reese Atwood, the reigning National Catcher of the Year, who was the MVP for sure of Game 2. Caught 3 runners, 2 stealing and a pickoff at third base yesterday, and homered to put Texas in front late.
Well, this is where if you're Kate Munnerlyn after that walk, a quick 2 outs, and then you give up that free pass, you have to be careful here. In both games of the series, Texas has scored 2 on the bottom of the first. So easily with a home run hitter who is the best home run hitter to ever wear a Texas uniform up, that quickly can change the dynamic of this game. But A&M scores 3, quick 2 outs, grabs the momentum. You do not want to let Texas get on the board here like they have in the other games that they won. The rise ball that she hit out yesterday was a solo home run. This swing ended up being the game-winning home run, a towering home run over the left field wall that just seemingly barely stayed fair, but that was it. 3rd run of the game for Texas. They'd go on to win 3-2.
Mile-high pop-up down the right side. Could be trouble, and it drops. First to third goes Martinez. And all of a sudden, the game-tying run will come to the plate in the bottom of the first with 2 outs.
Makes a great pitch. Just a seeing eye single is the right fielder, Frankie Vrajul, was playing more toward right center field, so she just had a long way to come for this. And actually, Maya Perez is probably the closest one, but as soon as the ball was put into the air, Maya Perez just ran to first base. So having an understanding when you're at first base, in fact, she's talking to Talon Edwards about it right now, maybe positioning. Do you think maybe I could have gotten that? Talon Edwards is playing up the middle of the field, Vrajul very far back. I think Maya Perez should have understood the defensive shift and gone for that, as she was the closest defender.
Katie Stewart having an otherworldly season at the plate. Swings at the first pitch.
Again, you have to be so careful here. 4 and 5 in the lineup with Atwood, Stewart. They have essentially half of the home runs in Texas's entire team. And Katie Stewart, my goodness, she can hit some long ones that end up hitting the building behind left field because she hits it so far.
Her 16 homers lead the team and rank inside the top 10 in the NCAA this year. And she calls time to chat with Mike White and Aaron Earlywine.
Down quickly with a couple of rise balls here in this count 0-2, but I mean, the power that Katie Stewart has, you cannot count her out with 2 strikes. That building behind left field, which is a newer building the past couple of years here at McCombs Field, but she broke a window. And I'm sure that it has happened multiple times because those windows are, from what I hear, are made of real glass. So that's interesting
tough.
choice.
That is tough. If you got one of those first 2 or 3 floor apartments out there, watch out. That's no-fly zone for Katie Stewart. Runner elicits a throw and then gets back to first. That's Atwood again showing that veteran savviness, scoring Martinez from third on the throwdown from Ariel Kowalewski.
Yeah, you have to be better than this if you're Texas A&M's defense and come up with a better plan of just understanding Reese Atwood is going to stop. The throw goes all the way through, and then it's one thing for the run to score, but you have to get it out there then at first base. With it waited way too long to throw, Atwood able to get back to first and continue to put the bat in Katie Stewart's hands with a runner on, where Texas can still tie up this game in the bottom of the first.
Such a pivotal game in the series for Texas A&M for more ways than one. Obviously, they'd like to avoid the sweep, pick up a win against the #1 ranked team, but Tricia Ford was critical of her team's mistakes. Just some mental errors dotted throughout each game. Really wanted to see a cleanly played Game 3 today as Stewart lines this foul down the right field side.
Is there like a magnetic pull there down the right field line today, or what is happening? I think that for the rest of the game, we need to be on the lookout for what's happening just beyond first base. Used to seeing a lot of pull power and balls hit toward the left side from Atwood and Stewart, but some fly balls headed that way.
There's a pull. What do you think it is? Texas just behind on Mutterlin, or purposefully taking what they're getting from her the opposite way?
Yeah, I think taking what they're getting, she's doing a good job of changing speed. So some of that is them being a little bit out in front. That's something that A&M did more in yesterday's game, was use the changeup in a higher percentage against Texas hitters than what they showed on Friday night.
7th pitch of this 2-out at bat for Stewart. Upstairs, ball 2. One of the difficulties in playing this Texas team is that they never stop coming after you. Always had a response in Game 1 for each of the innings in which A&M scored, and this is sent to deep right at the wall, and it is caught by Frankie Vrajul to end the inning. For the first time, Texas A&M keeps Texas at bay in the first inning of this series.
Community heroes together with Truist recognizes non-born teams and student athletes for doing good in their community. And this season, with each home run our softball heroes hit, Truist will donate $100 to
Of ESPN all in one place. Visit activate.espn.com to see if you have ESPN Unlimited as part of your TV package for no additional cost. It's all of ESPN all in one place. Sign up or activate now.
Another packed house at McCombs Field that saw over 2,200 fans show up for Game 2 of the Lone Star Showdown. Today is Game 3. Texas has already won the series with a pair of wins to start. It's going to be interesting to see how A&M responded. I think they've shown exactly how they intend to respond to Amanda putting up a 3 spot in the top of the first against a very, very talented arm in Tegan Cavan. KK Dement in the 7 spot leads it off for Texas A&M. Who last year went into the NCAA postseason as the #1 team in the country. Earned the program's first #1 overall seed, and also became the first #1 overall seed to lose in the regional to Liberty. KK Dement was part of that group. She and so many others still carry the sting of that loss, which motivated them in the offseason and continues to motivate them here in 2026.
They lost a lot of instrumental parts to their team, including a really 4-year ace and Emily Kennedy, their left-handed pitcher, that threw so hard. And also Coco Woolley at shortstop, Mac Barbara and her pop, and Allie Enright.
Well, this is sent pretty well deep to left. Back on it, Sneed, it is gone. Back-to-back innings with a home run for the Aggies off Tegan Cavan, and it's a 3-run lead again for Texas A&M.
And it's just all about answering, responding. A&M has gotten to wear that howdy hat a few times against Tegan Cavan with the home runs that they've been driving out of the park here in this game. That one just kept going, didn't it? I thought it was going to be a deep fly ball to left field and a 2-strike count. KK Dement just is protecting and just barely sneaks it over the left field wall to get that run that they gave up in the bottom of the first right back.
75-degree day here in Austin, but there are 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left field. 6th home run of the year for KK Dement. And in steps the left fielder Paisley Allen. Speaking of breaking windows, we were told it did not break a apartment window, but a car window. We are so sorry to whoever parked behind left field today.
That's just a bad decision. I'm sorry. If you're
When these two
parking out on the
teams are
street
playing, absolutely.
behind left field, and I saw people parking. They were actually fans that are coming to the game, so it's not like you're just oblivious about what's happening here today. That is just a bad decision to park behind left field with the way that the offenses are showing up in this series.
I think the guy in the black shirt out there in left is eyeing the damage. A&M has now homered in all but 6 games this year. It has been a opportunistic offense, and it has been an aggressive offense this year for Trisha Ford.
Just so interesting, Matt, in relief. Tegan Kavan has looked shut down. In her starts, she's looked more human. Like A&M's approach against her has looked different in her starts, and her stuff has looked a little different.
How so?
Maybe her rise ball just not quite as sharp and enticing with that just late break. But they just have done a better job, I think, in her starts of making her bring her rise ball down and putting pressure on her to make a better pitch with her rise. She wants you to chase that pitch out of the zone, and if you don't chase it, if you try to take away a pitcher's best pitch by not chasing it, not getting as many swings and misses from it, it really, as a pitcher, you feel that. Okay, they're not chasing that, so you try to throw that pitch a little bit better. You tense up a little bit more with it, and it ends up just flattening out some. But I think Kavan feels that from the A&M's ABs.
Allen battles there to draw a walk on a 3-2 pitch. Still nobody out in the second. March Madness is fully upon us. The NCAA Women's Championship continues tomorrow night. 2 more Elite Eight matchups. Michigan squaring off with #1 seed Texas, trying to get back to the Final Four in back-to-back years. And then a matchup of 3 versus 1. TCU ending the Cinderella run of Virginia last night, taking on South Carolina for a trip to the Final Four. This is an excellent bunt by Vrajel, then an errant throw into center, and the Texas defense, which was so crisp, making an error there in the field. Nobody covering first base as Vrajel got up the line.
So Texas not communicating. So Leanne Good, the second baseman, usually is going to come over on a bunt and cover first, which means that Katie Stewart would anchor back. But Leanne Good on a bunt is headed towards second, and Stewart goes up for the bunt. So it opens up first base to where Vrajel easily gets on. Well-executed bunt there, getting Texas out of their defensive system. Again, usually Katie Stewart is understanding, okay, on a bunt, Good is going to go towards second base. That means that I need to stay back and cover first base and let the pitcher, catcher, and third base get a bunt.
That is the car that took the home run ball from KK Dement. Shout out to our camera crew leaving the stadium, by the way, to get that shot.
Did it hit twice or just once? Because it kind of looks like there's 2 spots.
Does kind of look like 2 spots, but boy, that crack's just going to keep growing. You know that.
Oh, yeah. When it warms up as
Yes.
the day goes on, that is exactly what happens.
This inning is starting to take on a life of its own for Texas A&M. All of a sudden, 2 on and nobody out after the leadoff homer by KK Dement. Second time through the order already as Kennedy Powell comes to the plate.
Kennedy Powell is just such a good athlete. In fact, Trisha Ford calls her one of the best athletes that she's ever had the opportunity to coach. Talks about her high bat-to-ball skills, so she makes contact a lot, knows that she can make contact with a lot of different pitches, that sometimes gets herself out when she swings at those bad pitches because that rate is so high, getting her to chase one rise ball earlier in the zone and then swing through that one on the corner. It's a little bit lower to quickly get ahead of one of the hottest hitters in the A&M lineup.
Batting over 500 this year with runners in scoring position. Really worked in the offseason, Amanda, at adding something to her game offensively. The ability to swing away and to do so in a way that really threatens a pitcher and her defense.
That's the pitch as a lefty that Tegan Kavan likes to throw a lot. Outside corner, low rise ball that also moves a little bit away from the lefties. And whether you're a lefty slapper like Kennedy Powell or a power hitter like Perez on deck, you have to be able to take that pitch and understand the strike zone to make her throw this next one.
Powell sends the 2-2 in the left. Back on it, Sneed. Making the first start of the series in left field. Finally, the first out of the second inning for Tegan Cavan.
The first baseman, number 24, Micah Perez.
You talked about Kennedy Powell being one of the most dangerous and hottest hitters in this A&M lineup. Is there a more dangerous hitter in the SEC than Maya Perez? Just her presence in the box is enough to make you question, how are you going to attack this tremendous hitter?
Chasing there, laid off with the first one, but just all throughout this series has had moments where she's gotten out of her strike zone and helped out the Texas pitchers, which the plan of attack coming into the series is they're looking at the lineup, they're game planning and saying, all right, the one hitter we do not want to beat us is Maya Perez, so we are not going to give her anything too close, anything good, and see if you can poke around and throw some pitches out of the zone and get her to chase like she has shown in this series a bit.
It's interesting for her this year too, because she's sort of having to toe that line of, am I going to be pitched to or am I going to be pitched around? Against LSU, she was the SEC Player of the Week. They pitched to her, and then she was walked 8 times in the following series against Kentucky. This weekend they have gone after Perez. Lines this into left, Sneed playing it perfectly. 2 down.
Huge outs for Tegan Cavan and the Texas defense to face the top of the order, second time through with 2 runners on after the home run. So 3 reached in a row, and then unproductive outs by A&M with runners on base to get 2 outs in the air, both to left field.
Ariel Kowalewski comes to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. Doubled off Cavan to get the scoring started in the first for A&M. And time called by Reese Atwood. Readjusting that direct communication, but also a chat with her best friend Tegan Cavan. Perhaps, Amanda, about how to pitch Kowalewski in this spot.
Yeah, the end of the part that goes into her ear, I think, fell before she ended up making it right out to Tegan Cavan. She just picked it up and is now regrouping, but yeah, these two just very close with their relationship, one being a junior and Tegan Cavan, Reese Atwood, of course, being a senior, so they've been together for 3 years now. Best friend on and off the field, and Tegan Cavan told me she just gives me honest feedback. She knows exactly what I need to hear. She steals strikes for me and just makes me look good. I mean, 3 years that Tegan Cavan has gotten to throw to Reese Atwood, and she has caught almost 90% of the innings that Tegan's thrown.
And gets a strike on the outside corner to Kowalewski.
And when you have a relationship like that, Matt, you end up almost reading each other's minds. Tegan said that, the pitches are being called from Patty Ruth Taylor, the pitching coach for Texas, from inside the dugout. But that doesn't mean 100% of the time Tegan's going to want to throw that exact pitch. And when she doesn't want to throw it, Reese knows exactly what she wants to. It's like you can just have that instinctive synergy between each other because they are such good friends. She's caught her so much in the bullpen, caught her so much in games. I mean, won a national championship together. Almost start reading each other's minds.
Cavan was the most outstanding player of that championship last year. The 1-2. Gets a swing and a miss. 3rd strikeout of the day for Tegan Cavan. And shuts the door on A&M, leaving 2. But again, KK DeMent, another home run for the Aggies.
Yeah, they get one back. They gave up that 1 run to Texas in the bottom of the first, but with 1 swing, get it right back.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. Game 3 of the Lone Star Showdown series between number 15 Texas A&M, number 1 Texas. Aggies up 4-1 as we start the bottom of the second. KK Dement homering for the Aggies in the top half. They led 3-0 after the first inning. Texas got one back, and now the Aggies right back to a 3-run lead. Thank you very much, Roy. We welcome all those of you joining us on ESPN after Oklahoma took the series from LSU. Matt Schumacher, the former Aggie All-American, Amanda Scarborough. Game 3 of this top 15 hotly contested Lone Star rivalry. Texas ahead in the series 2-0, but A&M, Amanda, has come out with a tremendous response here in Game 3.
Yeah, in all 3 games of this series, A&M has scored in the top of the first inning, but in the top of the first here, they scored 3 runs and then scored again in the second. So similar to Game 1, where they scored in almost every inning, in that 9-8 loss to Texas, that was a walk-off win for them. A&M's offense showing up in this one.
Back-to-back innings with a home run for the Aggies to start. Hannah Wells got the start yesterday for Texas, pitched flawlessly, gave up just 2 earned runs in over 5 innings pitched. That's bounced off the glove of Powell at third, and not enough time to get Wells. If you are just joining us in the first inning, Texas A&M plated 3 runs. It started with an Ariel Kowalewski double off the wall, then Michaela Ward, 16th home run of the year for the Oklahoma State transfer. And then to lead off the second inning, KK Dement, high fly ball to left, broke a car window out beyond the left field fence. The Howdy Hat back out for the Aggies. They lead it 4-1.
Great recap. A&M's offense showing up. You're hearing some boos because that bat off the bat of Hannah Wells, or that ball off the bat of Hannah Wells, is actually called a foul ball. So while we were showing you that package, Mike White was actually talking to the home plate umpire, kind of getting on him. Did not agree with the fact that that was a foul ball. He was very frustrated.
So Wells rolls the 2-2 to short, and that is gloved by Dement. And the boos continue to ring down. It goes from a leadoff single to a leadoff out for the Longhorns.
And we've seen in this series with both games, with 10 of the last 11 games being played here in Austin being decided by 1 run between these 2 teams, just how important every play, every mistake, every call is. It comes down to those little things.
Bunt dropped down by Maloney. Tough play, and it does get away from Munnerlyn. Rolls into foul territory, scooped by Maya Perez.
Asha Maloney is starting to rock and roll in the box on offense, just using all of her different tools. So much spin on that, tough for Munnerlyn to handle smoothly, and so it took her just an extra beat to be able to field it and rushed her throw. Maloney would have been at first base anyway. That'll be a punt single for her.
6 stolen bases this year for the speedy Maloney. Alyssa Sneed making her first start of the series, batting in the 8-hole for Texas.
Showing bunt again right after the Maloney bunt, and why not just try to keep A&M on their heels with another bunt attempt with the lefty pitcher.
Runner goes, throw down from Kowalewski, not in time. Maloney has her 7th stolen base of the year.
Texas has been running on Ariel Kowalewski a little bit. She did not start the season back behind the plate for A&M. They went through 3 catchers until they got to her. Transfer from Florida, who also played third base and caught, have really relied on her the past about 15 games to be a backstop back behind the plate, the way that she's handled the pitchers, the way that she has led back there. But they have definitely tested her and stolen against her in this series.
And that is one of the interesting things about Trisha Ford's team this year. They returned 4 starters from last year's team that went into the postseason as the #1 seed. Only one of them is still playing in that same everyday defensive position. A lot of moving pieces for the Aggies in 2026 and a lot of turnover from last year's team. 1-1 to Sneed. Just misses.
When you think about how different that is for A&M versus Texas, when you look at the bottom half of the order for A&M, they have 4 sophomores in a row, 5 that hit for them, a sophomore pitching for them right now in the circle, and Kate Mutterlin. It's a really young team compared to Texas that is full of juniors and seniors that have Women's College World Series and national championship experience.
And that has shown to start the year for Texas. 31-1, the best start in program history. Currently riding a 29-game win streak. That's the longest active win streak in the nation. It's also a program record for Mike White. Good pitch from Mutterlin. Gets a strikeout of Sneed. 2 gone.
First strikeout of the game for Kate Mutterland comes with a runner in scoring position. Looked like a backdoor curveball on the outside part of the plate, but she gets the chase of the freshman in Sneed, and now it's to face the 9-hole and Nichols, another freshman. It's young down here in the bottom of the lineup for Texas.
Nichols, of course, replacing the All-American Mia Scott. The one glaring absence from last year's championship run, the first in program history for the Longhorns. 0-2.
If you're just tuning in, Kate Mutterland getting the start in this one, and Sydney Lessentine for A&M got the start in Game 1 and Game 2, and coming into Game 3, which feels like a must-win situation for A&M to avoid the sweep. We were wondering who is going to get the start here on Sunday.
And Mutterlin quickly answering that question. Back-to-back strikeouts, 3-run lead for A&M. Game 1 was dominated by Vivi Martinez. 4 for 4, 2 homers, and the game-winning run to walk it off in the 7th. In Game 2, the reigning national catcher of the year, Reese Atwood, shined both behind the plate and at it. Had the game-winning home run in another 1-run Texas win. Matt Schumacher, Amanda Scarborough with you. Texas, the #1 team in the country. They've won 29 in a row. this weekend they've shown great resilience against Texas A&M.
And it's been a tough week for them. They had a midweek game against Texas State where they were trailing the majority of the game, and then the same thing in game 1 in this series happened to them where they were trailing to A&M. But Texas, defending national champs for the first week, the #1 team, as Tennessee lost last weekend to Florida, they took that #1 spot and are just a team that just finds different ways to win, and they show off their experience in those tight games.
Their lone loss this year was to Jordy Fromm's Nebraska Cornhuskers all the way back on February 7th. Sharply hit ball up the middle. And another leadoff hit for Texas A&M. That's Michaela Wark, who's now 2 for 2 in game 3.
Look at where this pitch is. It is a drop ball that Wark is able to hit hard up the middle of the field. And for Kavan, who usually shows her rise ball going down more, including the last strikeout to Kowalewski with the runner in scoring position, you can tell she wants to lean on that drop ball a little bit more because A&M has been so good against her rise ball early in this game as well as early in game 1 when she got the start against them. So that's a big deal for A&M's offense for Wark to go up and hit that pitch after Kowalewski struck out against it to say, hey, we're going to be in the back of your head, not just against your rise ball, but we're going to get your drop ball too.
Scout Lovell coming in to pinch run for Texas A&M. Talon Edwards at the plate. And that came straight back into our booth. Both of us ducked out of the way. Everybody behind home asking if we're all right. Yes, we are. Now, I thought the All-American was going to protect me there, but she dove.
No, I'm a ducker. If
the way.
If you saw me at SEC tournament last year, you know I'm going to duck. I'm not going up for the big catch. It hurts too much, and I just don't want the pain.
Come on now. All the comebackers you fielded in the circle in your All-American days at A&M.
Yeah, oh.
I could have protected you too, but I was out of there.
That's so good. No, I'm ducking. And I'm not even ashamed to duck. Like, some people want to give me a hard time for it, and I don't care.
We're just glad all the tech up here stayed out of harm's way. Talon Edwards, one of a handful of newcomers this year for A&M, has really shined in her lone season of eligibility remaining for Texas A&M. Lays off the 2-1 pitch, and now a hitter's count to the Oklahoma State transfer.
Well, and I think that's a prime example of how one pitch and an at-bat can really shift the entire at-bat. If you get the call versus when you don't get the call. That, to me, should have been a strike with the changeup. Edwards takes it to work it to a 3-1 count, and then she ends up walking. So when you talk about umpires and calls, and there's going to be some missed calls, and it might just be like, oh yeah, there's one here and one there, but it matters. Every single pitch call matters in an at-bat because it shifts that at-bat, and then it can shift the entire inning.
Tegan Kavan, who entered the weekend with a 1.8 ERA, a top 20 strikeout to walk ratio, has not always had the easy road against the Aggies in this series. In fact, A&M has hit .357 entering the day against Texas pitching, which in back-to-back days included Tegan Kavan. We're now seeing her for the 3rd time in this series.
Yeah, their offense has shown up in this series. I mean, when you look at the numbers, it's essentially their overall averages on the season that they've hit in this series, which is a huge deal, right? To show up on the road and score early, score often. But they've been able to see Tegan Kavan well in her career. In fact, she's thrown over 12 innings against them in her career going into this game and given up 13 runs, 12 of them being earned. A&M has seen Tegan Kavan very well, including here today with the 4 runs that she's given up. Those numbers do not include that. You think about, too, this is the most outstanding player in the Women's College World Series, winning a national championship. This is no slouch, All-American out here. For A&M to have those numbers against Kavan, consistently having a good game plan against her.
At this pop-up double play. Heady by the veteran Katie Stewart. And 2 outs And a runner wiped off the bag.
Between yesterday's game and now today, this is, to my count, 5 base running mistakes by Texas A&M. You cannot run yourself out of an inning like this. Texas's defense showed up great against A&M's bad base running mistakes yesterday, caught them just making bad decisions at second, at third. Reese Atwood picked somebody off at third base early in the game, and the rest of the Texas defense and their hitters gained steam off of that momentum.
Well, we talked all about Texas A&M's offensive numbers. If you were just going off of that, you would think Tricia Ford's team was up 2-0 in this series. But it's some of the blunders that you talked about, both defensively and on the base paths, that have been the difference in these 2 one-run games.
And this was yesterday, early in the game. Look at this, Reese Atwood, first and third situation, pump fake to second base to then get Kelsey Mathis napping over at third. I mean, this is like Patrick Mahomes with the no-look pass. She's going to second and then whips it over to third. Quick release. Reese Atwood threw out 3 runners in yesterday's game. Texas's defense was on point with their throws and bad base running mistakes by A&M.
Reigning All-American behind the plate, reigning National Catcher of the Year. One of the runners she threw out was Kennedy Powell, who at the time had the nation's longest active stolen base streak at 42. She is a weapon behind the plate. Bouncing ball to third, it's Dement, and she will be thrown out by J.C. Nichols. So the Texas defense wipes potentially a couple of runs off the board, keeps it a 3-run game.
One team will advance to the Women's College World Series. High and deep left field, and long gone. Texas A&M survive. Bella Dayton, a 2-run jack. The top seed is not done yet. 1 strike to get for Kavai. Strike 3! Texas is going to the World Series.
One of the all-time super regionals in the history of the NCAA tournament. You had the pleasure of calling it. 3 one-run games, 10 of the last 11 in this epic rivalry played on this field, Amanda, have been decided by 1 run.
Oh my gosh, it was so good, played under the lights. There was this electricity and intensity and moments and pitches made that just made it truly, I think, the best super regional in history.
It was so back and forth the whole weekend. And frankly, this series has mirrored that a little bit. Of course, it's not May, and there's not a trip to the Women's College World Series on the line, but certainly these are 2 teams that feel like they have the ability to get to Oklahoma City this year. And this is a pivotal series for both teams.
Well, I think the A&M has proven with the last few years, Texas being the higher-ranked team when they've met in the postseason and even in this one, that they're just not going to back down when they've played them here so many times in Austin. I mean, this is the first time that these two teams have met in conference play since the year 2012, back when they were in the Big 12, because when A&M left for the SEC, Texas and A&M did not get an opportunity to play each other in the regular season. The only time that they've been playing each other as of late is in the postseason at regionals and supers.
3-2 count to Caden Henry. Second time through the order here for Texas. They managed just 2 hits against Kate Munnerlyn. The first time through, one of those was a bunt single in the second inning. Henry fly ball to center. Kelsey Mathis with the first out. Well, tonight the final UFL kickoff weekend matchup debuts. The Columbus Aviators taking on the Orlando Storm. That's 8 Eastern right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Who doesn't like a little spring football? Mixed in with March Madness, mixed in with a top 15 Lone Star Showdown in softball. It's a great time of year to be a sports fan. Base is clear, 1 gone for Leanne Good.
We saw that epic super regional and how this is the first time that these two have played each other in the regular season in a very long time. And I think it's time for me to start my petition that we have rivalry matchups every single year that are played within the SEC. I think that you should have 2 teams every single year that you're going to play them no matter what, because with the SEC having so many teams and there being just so few conference matchup weekends, you don't play everybody. But there should be 2 opponents that you play every year. Texas should play OU and A&M every single year, and kind of mirror baseball with A&M playing Texas and LSU every year. You get those 2 matchups every time, and every opponent has 2 that they play every single year.
Well, I think these crowds that we've had this weekend tell you all you need to know about the interest in this rivalry. It has been standing room only since Friday night. Well over 2,000 for each of the games here at McCombs Field.
In baseball, in SEC play, does do this. They have 2 opponents that they play every year. I think softball needs to quickly follow their lead, and let's make this happen. Let's get these rivalry matchups that you can look forward to every single year be played.
Good drives a walk, her first time aboard in game 3. Passes the bat to Vivi Martinez, who currently rides an 8-game hit streak. Has 8 runs batted in over this stretch, including a 4-for-4 night on game 1. That included 2 homers, the first 2 home runs of the year for the junior.
Well, those walks got A&M into trouble in yesterday's game. Remember, that was a tight game, a 3-2 final score. Hit by pitch and an error in the first inning ended up coming around to score for Texas, plus that Reese Atwood home run that would give them the 3 runs.
Well, if you are just joining us, this Texas offense has been really good this year. Top 10 in a host of categories, batting average and runs scored included. Averaging nearly 9 runs per game. Martinez, a flare to right, and Vrajel is there, 2 gone. And really, it's a credit to A&M pitching over the last 2 days. A&M gave up just 3 runs yesterday, and today, Kate Munnerlyn, which may have surprised some people to get the game 3 start, Amanda, has looked fantastic against this excellent Texas offense.
Well, and Sydney Lessentine threw a gem for A&M yesterday, but their offense didn't show up in terms of scoring runs. However, in the series, A&M's offense has actually been better than Texas's offense. When you look at the situational numbers, hitting with 2 outs, their average in the series, or Sydney Lessentine in the dugout there, she's gotten 2 starts in this series and through the complete game did give up those 3 runs, but pitched very well against this tough offense.
Gets a pop-up of Reese Atwood. 3 easy outs in the inning. Texas strands 1. Kate Munnerlyn cruising through 3, maintaining a 3-run lead for the 15th ranked Texas A&M Aggies. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Another packed crowd at McCombs Field in Austin, Texas for a rivalry renewed. The Lone Star Showdown. Texas up 2-0 in the series, but A&M showing a lot of fight here in Game 3. We're joined by their head coach, Tricia Ford. Coach, you talked to Amanda and I pregame, said this was a pivotal game for your ladies. Why?
Yeah, I just think I needed to see us come out and fight and really try to get this Game 3. I think, you know, we have the talent. We just haven't executed at a high rate, and we need to. And so I know what we're capable of doing, so I was very pleased with where we're at so far.
Yeah, Coach, what have you liked out of Munnerlyn's outing so far?
Yeah, I think she's doing a good job of hitting her spots, you know, making them. The key to pitching is to throw strikes at the least amount of times, right? Like, make them chase. And so when you need to throw a strike, throw a strike. But if you don't have to, then let's not.
Coach, appreciate that excellent explanation. I think Amanda was pretty good at that in her days at A&M.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I'd take her again. Yeah, she's got a COVID year in there somewhere. Yeah,
she might be out of eligibility. Coach, I appreciate your time.
All right, gig 'em.
Have you noticed that, Amanda, with Munnerlyn getting Texas maybe to chase a little bit, pitches that they wouldn't normally otherwise?
Yeah, you know, I think that Texas has shown that in this series, whether it's a less-than-team rise ball that they chase out of the zone in both Game 1 and Game 2, or being able to help her a little bit. That changeup has been very effective, and I think the fact that all of the pitchers on the A&M pitching staff have a good changeup has helped keep Texas's offense at bay this weekend for the most part.
Longhorns batting .274 entering the day to A&M's .357 in the series. Paisley Allen leads it off for the Aggies. 8-9-1 due up in the fourth. Texas A&M carrying a 3-run lead, looking for their fourth win against a ranked opponent this year. They have been in some really tight games. Just 2-8 this season in games decided by 2 runs or less. Many of those coming against top 25 teams.
Well, if they want to win in this game, they're going to have to keep scoring. In Game 1, they scored in almost every inning except the 6th and the 7th whenever Tegan Cavan came in, because you know that Texas's offense is not going to go away. So you want to score as many runs as possible and not give Texas momentum.
Good pitch by Cavan. That's her 4th strikeout, and it's a quick one to start the 4th.
So going down to this drop ball right at the knees in the zone. She's tunneling her low rise ball and her drop ball, which is that pitch right there, very well right now. Started out Paisley Allen with a low rise right on the outside corner, and then blended in that drop ball to finish her off for the K.
Misses to Frankie Vrajol. Really high expectations this year for Tegan Cavan. Of course, you mentioned the All-American status, the most outstanding player of last year's Women's College World Series. Texas, of course, winning the program's first national championship. But Amanda, she too has high aspirations. She has put it out there. She wants to make Team USA. It's a dream of hers. She's also carrying the weight of being the ace for the reigning national champions. A lot of responsibility on the shoulders of this junior in the circle.
And she's had a really successful career. She's going to talk to, as we mentioned before, her best friend who catches her, Reese Atwood, and caught her last year, of course, in that Women's College World Series run when they won the national championship. And she pitched in all those innings, winning the most outstanding player, just had a heck of a run at the Women's College World Series and pitched spectacularly. So you can tell how dominant that she can be. And all 3 years, we've known that Tegan Cavan has a great rise ball. She came in as a freshman with that pitch. That is her go-to pitch. And, you know, I asked her coming into this series, like, what is it like to know and feel when hitters have a plan for that rise ball? Everybody knows that you have a multi-level rise ball. And she said, you know, early on in the game, like, you can tell what the game plan is, but I've developed my drop ball and the spin of that pitch and just being able to locate it better and trust it more to where she can get hitters off of her rise ball by going to her drop ball more, like when she struck out Paisley Allen with the drop. That drop ball percentage, the amount that she's used it, has gone up from her freshman season when she only threw it 4% this season, using it 16%.
Gets a 3-2 ground ball to short, 2 down.
the one mindset thing, I love talking to these pitchers and just these players in general, but of course talking to the pitcher that has the ball in their hand, all these pitches, these SEC intense matchups. She knows what it's like to win a national championship. And so she said, at the end of the day, you just have to trust what you're good at. And I tell myself, my best is better, no matter what they're planned for. That's the mindset of a national champion pitcher and what she goes into the game with.
Third time through the order now for A&M. Leadoff hitter Kennedy Powell riding a 39-game on-base streak after singling off Kavan in the first. Down in the count 0-1.
Well, and think about just her growth and her mindset overall, Matt, from maybe her freshman year. She started game one, got hit a little bit by A&M on Friday, came out for a few innings, and then came back for the 6th and 7th inning and shut them down. So a reset for an All-American pitcher, and now veteran, and the same thing happening in this game where they scored 4 runs off of her in the first and second inning to put up a 0 in the third inning. Trying to do the same here.
Well, she told us coming into the series, Amanda, that maybe one of the biggest areas of growth has been the mental toughness to get over in-game hurdles that maybe would have spiraled her in games earlier in her career. To your point, we've not only seen it in the series as a whole, but in today's game, now battling for potentially her 5th strikeout.
This would be an important inning after, again, putting up that 3 spot in the top of the third and a 3-up, potential 3-down inning here. I think they're asking with Kennedy Powell if the ball hit her when she was out of the box. Just kind of tapped it off the end of her bat, ran by it.
Texas is challenging that the runner was hit by the ball. The following play is under review.
I think it came close, but
I don't see anything there, at least on that angle, that would overturn it.
and it did come very close to her left foot when she was running down the line, but and you know, I think a big reason they're wanting to use this challenge is because they don't want her to reach and have to face Maya Perez in this inning. So you might think, all right, well, it's 0-2 count, 2 outs. Like, why would you use a review here as we take a even better look with the Hawkeye system to see if it hit her when she's out of the box running toward first base.
Check out that left hand.
Maybe there.
Boy, that's close.
And even if it hit her there, though, that would be in the box.
Sure.
She would just, come back. I think they're more so looking at a couple of steps out of the box to see if it hit her foot to where that could potentially be an out for them. Right there. Here, if it hit her, she is 100% out of the box. So they're looking to be able to get an out so that they do not have to face Maya Perez in this inning.
With the runner on.
With the runner on.
Maya Perez, of course, has done so much damage throughout her career, including against this Texas team. Showed the video of her in the 2024 Super Regional with a home run that will go down in the history books for A&M softball. Now the fans here in the stadium are looking at the same thing we're looking at. Well, they feel like it hit Kennedy Powell.
Because there's a deceptive angle where I feel like when you look at it one way, it looks like it did hit her, but when you look at it another way, it looks even further from her. So to me, if we're going about it this much, I don't think there's a clear and obvious turnover to change this call. So I would think that this is going to stand as just a foul ball.
It appears our first base umpire, Megan Rabin, has received the final say on this.
After review, the call is confirmed. The batter was not hit by the ball. It's a foul ball. The count is no balls and 2 strikes. Texas has 1 challenge remaining.
And so Kennedy Powell will get another crack at it. This will be the 70th pitch of the day for Tegan Kavan.
It's up to Kennedy Powell now, which he's done such a great job of this season for A&M, is to find a way to get on base, to get Maya Perez up with a runner on in this inning.
1-2 from Kavan. Gets a strikeout of Powell. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Kavan with a pair of strikeouts.
She's settling into this game now, facing this A&M lineup 3 times through, getting Kennedy Powell, one of the best hitters in the A&M lineup, chasing on that rise ball.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back to the Lone Star Showdown. The #1 Texas Longhorns riding a 29-game win streak, ahead in the series 2-zip as we welcome in Mike White. Coach, always appreciate your time. For those that are watching this that maybe haven't seen your team this year, 8 returning starters from the Women's College World Series, this great and historic win streak. What has stood out to you about your team so far in 2026?
I just guess keeping their head to the ground, just not getting too far ahead of themselves, staying present in the moment and not thinking about what the other teams are doing, thinking more about what we're doing.
Coach, what's been the difference from Tegan Kavan in the early innings to what she's done the past couple of innings? What's been the adjustment?
Fewer mistakes, it looks like to me, but you never know until you get to tape and everything. But it looks like she's using other pitches as well, so to kind of keep them off balance.
Coach, appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Hey, you're welcome. Hook 'em.
Well, Tegan showed great grit, I think, Amanda, in the last inning. 2 strikeouts. She now has 5 on the day. Went 1, 2, 3 for the first time today against A&M.
Just sticking around in this game and finding different ways to get outs, make fewer mistakes, mix her pitches with her drop ball and her change just enough.
She has kept A&M at bay. You said an inning or two ago that it would be important for the Aggies to continue scoring because of how dangerous this Texas lineup can be. Maybe none more dangerous right now than Katie Stewart, batting .470 with 16 homers. Both of those top 15 in the country.
Well, and seeing left-handed pitchers well this season. So coming into this game, she had 12 at-bats against lefties and 6 hits. 3 of those 6 hits have been for home runs.
Kate Munnerlyn back in the circle to start the 4th. Has still just allowed the 2 hits. One of those was a bunt single to Ashton Maloney back in the 2nd inning. She will bat 3rd this inning for Texas.
And that right there was a great take. I'm sure Katie Stewart going to be looking to hit on this 3-1 pitch, knowing that Munnerlyn does not easily want to let this leadoff hitter on.
Pitching around Stewart. Will pass the bat to Hannah Wells. Well, as you may know, ESPN is now the home of MLB.TV. You can stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLB.TV.
It's the first time that Texas has had their leadoff hitter on. Big opportunity when that happens, especially when you're down by 3 runs.
Hannah Wells, a sensational start to her career. Two-way star, just a freshman. The reigning National Gatorade Player of the Year. Really showed something, I thought, yesterday in the circle. Went 5 2/3, allowed just the 2 runs to this very powerful A&M lineup. Takes the 0-1 deep to right. Back on it, Vrajel, and will make the catch. 1 away.
Yeah, that's a big out. Looked like she got a good piece of that, sending it the opposite way. Something that, as a freshman, Coach White has seen growth in her game on, and just a little bit out in front of it for a fly out.
Texas batting .250 in the series with runners on. Ashton Maloney did reach on a bunt her first time up, showing bunt already here.
And there is a big shift with Talon Edwards at second base and then Vrajel in right field. Look at this big hole on the right side of the field if she decides to swing away or slap. Looking like she wants to lay down a bunt here. So in that situation, Edwards is going to cover second, and then Org is going to end up staying at first base to anchor back. So that actually opens up a bunt opportunity down the first base line because Work is anchoring back and you have a left-handed pitcher in the circle.
Instead, she swings away. Could be a double play, but the speed of Maloney will beat that out. A&M gets the lead runner in Stewart, 2 gone.
Well, and exactly with that shift, what A&M's defense wanted was just a ground ball to the left side, get the force out at second, an unproductive out for Texas 2 times now in a row by Wells and then Maloney with the after that leadoff walk.
Going to see a pinch hitter here for Texas in the 8th spot. It is Alyssa Sneed due up. But Matea Lawson, one of a handful of freshmen that is getting some really significant opportunities for the #1 team in the country, comes in here in a rather high leverage situation with Texas down 3 in the 4th.
Yeah, I feel like you can tell that this is someone that Mike White feels like has a lot of potential and wants to see what she can do in these situations. Pinch hit opportunity, a freshman that was a highly recruited athlete coming out of high school. Continues to give her opportunities. Thinking about, Matt, in between pitches, how quiet this crowd is, right? For it being a packed house and fans 100% around the entire field, it can just be kind of, I felt the same thing yesterday, kind of quiet. Maybe everybody's a little bit hot, just getting used to the warmer weathers, although yesterday was beautiful weather in the 70s.
Lawson chops the 1-2, fielded very well by the Oklahoma State transfer at second base, Talon Edwards. Munnerlyn still cruising through 4.
This series is going to be fun.
The energy, the fans. Aggies don't like to go to Austin because you're in enemy territory.
You got to do it today.
It's the highest level of competition.
You got to do what it takes.
Everybody is out to win.
Who's going to be the best team in Texas?
And welcome back to the Lone Star Showdown. Texas with a slight 28-24 edge in the series. This the first regular season meeting since 2012. A&M down 0-2 in the series, but they have really come out with aggression and some edge here in Game 3. A 3-run lead entering the 5th. Homered in each of the first 2 innings. And for the 3rd time in this series, scored first. But this is the first time, Amanda, that we've seen them hang on to that lead through the first couple of innings. Maya Perez leads it off to start the 5th for the Aggies.
They just continue to go at her, and that's something that Trisha Ford coming into the series said, I think they're going to go at her. We've seen everybody approach pitching Maya Perez differently. In fact, I think she faced 16 balls in a row at one point because the plan of attack was just to not give her anything at all and make someone else beat you.
Perez flared into left field and caught on the run for the first out. Kaya Altmaier coming in for Alyssa Sneed in left field. One down for Ariel Kowalewski. Kowalewski got the scoring started for A&M in the first with a double off the center field wall. Tegan Cavan has looked different than we saw in the first 2 innings. Got tagged a little bit, 3 extra base hits, 2 of those homers. She's allowed just 1 single since the start of the 3rd inning.
And she talked to me coming into this series about how important visualization is for her. That when she steps onto the rubber, she sees the shape of the pitch before she throws it. She wants to visualize with all the movement that she has. What she wants to visualize is where she wants that pitch to finish. I asked her, where do you look at, right? Because as a pitcher, sometimes you look at where you want a pitch to start. Other pitchers like to look to see where they want the pitch to finish. And she likes to look to see where the pitch is going to finish.
Ground ball to third, fielded by Nichols, 2 away.
And then alongside that, she said a great quote that sticks with her that Mike White had told her as a freshman, but make every pitch your masterpiece. So visualizing that pitch before you throw it, understanding the importance of 1 pitch at a time, and also how you're just 1 pitch away from getting out of an inning, from shifting the momentum, from getting back to feeling good in the circle. And I feel like we've seen her do that today.
Two gone for Michaela Wark, who has homered and singled off Cavan. The lone hit against the reigning most outstanding player in the World Series last year since the 2nd inning. How did you handle visualization as a player when you were in the circle for A&M?
Yeah, I like to imagine the best pitch that I had ever thrown to that location after I got the pitch call. And it's something that happens in the split of a second in your mind as a pitcher. You've seen the pitches come out of your hand and to the catcher so many times.
Wark into right field. It's a 3-for-3 day for the Oklahoma State transfer.
So it's something as a pitcher that you would never know is happening as Michaela Wark visualizes this mistake right down the heart of the plate. Doesn't just visualize it, she just smacks it. That was a drop ball right down the heart of the plate, did not find a corner, and Wark has just absolutely been on fire in this game. 7 hits for Michaela Wark in this series.
Has had a really hot start to the year. Trisha Ford told us she lives in the cage with her former Cowgirl teammate Talon Edwards, who's now at the plate for the Aggies. A chance to add to the tally with 2 outs in the 5th.
Well, she's had 2 or more hits in 5 consecutive games that you just saw that little stat pop off of the score bug in the upper left-hand corner, and that's so important because that streak started whenever they were pitching around Maya Perez. So it's like, who is going to step up if they are going to pitch around Maya Perez? That's when she was hitting immediately after her in the order. A&M has shuffled up their lineup in this series, moving Maya Perez to the 2-hole and then Kowalewski and then Wark. But it seemed like Michaela Wark got a little bit bad with how much they were pitching around Maya Perez and said, all right, I'm going to start stepping up. Took a little bit for that to get going for her, but then she's just been hot.
We asked Trisha Ford, what did you like about Michaela Wark out of the portal? And she said she's spicy, has an edge that Coach Ford not only loves, but resonates with. Because Coach Ford's got some spice too.
I was going to say, I think it's her middle name, Trisha Spicy Ford. I think that just is maybe her legal middle name because she does have that little bit of spice to her. She likes to recruit players that have it, whether it's a freshman coming in or from the portal.
And you could say the same for Talon Edwards. Plays with a swagger, plays with an intense competitiveness. Hitters count to her, 3-1.
It's an outside pitch, the lefties that they get so unsure about. Pitch that not only moves a little bit up with rise ball spin, but also moves a little bit away. I'm likely going to go right back to it. Up and in, complete opposite. But that's what Tegan Kavan can do, is throw her rise ball to 4 different quadrants. Up and in to a lefty, low and in to a lefty, and then on the other side, throw it at the same heights as well.
Told you she's always twirling things in her hand as if she's about to throw a rise. TV remotes, cans in the grocery store.
Putting everything with backspin on it to create that rise spin.
Gets a ground ball to second. It's off the glove of Good. First to third goes Wark, and Talon Edwards keeps the inning alive for A&M.
And that was a great at bat, fighting in that full count. Fouled off that rise ball up and in to then get something. That was a changeup, low and away, just sticking with it long enough, staying deep into her legs to hit it hard right off the glove of Good that then goes out into the outfield. And a little 2-out rally here for A&M. Something in this series that they've done a good job of is hitting with 2 outs.
They will send Kelsey Mathis to the plate. Jeff Harger, their hitting coach, is out right now. Perhaps A&M will bring in a pinch runner.
Attention, please. Pinch runner for the Aggies, 0-0, counter 1.
And they will pinch run for Talon Edwards at first base. It'll be Crabtree at first. And still Wark at third as Kelsey Mathis digs in.
And when we looked at the numbers, A&M has out-hit Texas in both games, yet have no wins in this series to show for it. They've been better situationally with runners on, better than them with 2 outs. I mean, 2-out hitting for A&M has been very good. They have 2 2-out hits in this game, 2 for 6.
And they've hit .333 with runners in scoring position.
Against the #1 team, you'll take hitting .357, enter into game 3. You'll take hitting .333 with runners in scoring position.
And it's so interesting because Trisha Ford said the offense has been actually the biggest surprise of the regular season so far. That was not the strength, in her mind anyway, of this team during the fall. Now, part of that was Ariel Kowalewski was not able to participate with the team in fall ball, transferring in mid-year last year from Florida. Adding her back to the lineup has certainly created a different dynamic. But in general, Tricia Ford has seen great growth from this A&M team that does have a lot of new pieces this year.
Gives a lot of credit to her third base coach and hitting coach Jeff Harger for what he's been able to do with A&M's offense since they took over the program the last 4 years, just consistently putting up offensive numbers. And you want an offense too that doesn't go away against good pitching, against ranked opponents. I mean, their offense consistently shows up against quality opponents.
1-2 count to Mathis, 2 on, 2 out, 3-run lead for A&M. Where did that miss?
It's a great take by Mathis and exactly what A&M wants to do. And this is the pitch that Kavan once called one of her lower rise balls in the zone. Looked like that could potentially be at the top of the zone, but Mathis trusts her eyes, takes it to this count here.
Just got a piece. Kelsey Mathis, one of those A&M players this year put in a new role. The starting center fielder as of the last 2.5 weeks, riding a 6-game hit streak. Takes ball 3 and a full count to the A&M sophomore. Mathis lays off the 3-2, and the bases are loaded for Texas A&M in the 5th.
What an at-bat by Kelsey Mathis. Mind you, when she got 2 strikes, she called that timeout on her own, by the way, to talk to third base coach Jeff Harger. I just need a beat. I just need a second to regroup from what's quickly happening in this at-bat with an important situation and a couple runners on base. So she took that timeout herself to talk to Harger and then took some close pitches to draw that walk. What a quality at-bat with 2 outs against Tegan Kavan.
Visit to the rubber here by Texas pitching coach Patty Ruth Taylor with the bases loaded. Really the first time we've seen Kavan with her back against the wall since the 2nd inning. Longhorns with some activity in the bullpen. The freshman Hannah Wells getting loose. A 29-game win streak at risk for the #1 team in the country as KK Dement comes to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 5th.
And I think this is a big at-bat for KK Dement. Just done a great job this season with the bases loaded. She had a terrific freshman year where she put up big offensive numbers, and this was a breakout offensive star.
Flare into right field, back on it Maloney, and Tegan Kavan gets the pitch she needs. A&M leaves the bases loaded, still a 3-run deficit for the #1 team in the country.
take home the national championship for the first time. There drills that one deep and gone. Leanne Gould, 3-run home run. Scott smashes that deep center field. Mia Scott, grand slam. Texas is finally bringing the championship home to Austin.
Longhorns fresh off their first national championship in program history, returning 8 starters and 3 pitchers from that run through the Women's College World Series. 31-1 to start this year, best start in program history. 29-game win streak that they're currently on, not only a program record, but the longest active streak in the nation. 16 of their 31 wins have come by run rule, but not in this series. Back-to-back one-run victories against Texas A&M in a renewal of the Lone Star Showdown for the first time in the regular season since 2012. The #1 team in the country on the ropes a little bit here in the 5th with Kate Mutterland back in the circle.
We've been tested this week, too, with the amount of one-run games that they played in that midweek against Texas State. They were trailing the whole game. That ended up being a one-run win for them, come from behind win, and it just does not get easier for Texas as they're going to try to keep this win streak going. So they'll have to finish this one and then go to Alabama, then face Oklahoma, and then at a hot Georgia team.
Off the end of the bat of Nichols, one gone.
See how long they can keep that win streak going. A couple of teams had win streaks going into the weekend that got broken this weekend. Nebraska had a fairly long one. I think it was 14 or 15. And then OU, I think, was at 21, 22.
And LSU with their first win against Oklahoma since 2015. There have been some eyebrow raisers. Talked with Aaron Earlywine before the game. And of course, March Madness is the term for college basketball, but there's certainly some March Madness in softball. And part of it is there's some fatigue that these teams are battling this time of year.
I think it's kind of that mid-year fatigue where you played all the tournament games, 5-6 games that you had in a weekend in February, and then you enter into conference, and it just has a different way and different intensity, different way of wearing you down. And I feel like you kind of pick up some steam in the beginning of April. But at the end of March, I mean, you can kind of hit a wall. We've seen a lot of close games this week, a lot of midweeks that challenged ranked opponents. And then, of course, I think the biggest headline is Ole Miss winning the series against Tennessee this weekend.
Ole Miss went into that series with Tennessee without a win in the SEC. They were 0-9 before their victory against the Lady Vols earlier in the weekend. Mike White does not like the call from home plate umpire Rick Cowan. And now a 2-2 count to his leadoff hitter, Caden Henry.
Well, in all fairness to Ole Miss not having to win before that Tennessee series, their SEC schedule start was just brutal. They had to face Texas, Alabama, and then Oklahoma, and then Tennessee. And when they faced them, I believe all those teams were top 5 ranked teams. It's tough.
Similar to the run that Texas is now in the midst of. The start of this A&M series begins 13 straight games against top 25 opponents. That is a gauntlet of a schedule for the #1 team in the country and the reigning national champs.
It's definitely not going to get easier from here for Texas.
Henry, laser in the right center, that'll find grass. Off the base of the wall, and Henry has a stand-up, one-out double to get this crowd on its feet again at McCombs Field.
I think if I were A&M, I would think about making a pitching change right here. This tells me everything I need to know with Caden Henry's swing on that changeup and just how she's able to recognize it and barrel it up. A&M has thrown Texas a lot of changeups in this series. They threw them even more in game 2 than they did in game 1. So that recognition of that pitch tells me that they're either on to something or picking it up easier out of Kate Mutterland's hand. And If I were A&M, I think I would make a pitching change right here as you now face the top of the lineup 3 times through the order, and the toughest to come.
14th double of the year for Caden Henry. That leads the SEC. She passes the bat to Leanne Good, who you saw in that highlight package coming back, was one of the star bats in that decisive Game 3 of the Women's College World Series final last year. Takes upstairs 2-0.
Think about just with the shift in momentum, how important that out was that Team Kavan had with 2 outs and the bases loaded to quickly get KK Dement on 1 pitch, and then to go into their offensive side and have the top of the order coming up, and with Caden Henry getting a double.
And down the line, you've got Vivi Martinez, Reese Atwood, Katie Stewart, a murderer's row for Texas. 3 of the hottest hitters in the country right now, all looming for the Longhorns. And a 3-0 count to Leanne Good.
It's a very difficult position for Munderland to be in. Usually we see her more in a relief role where she's just trying to get 6 outs, but she's pitched exceptionally well against these Texas hitters deep into this game.
Full count.
Great job of just getting back into the count. Used her changeup to get the first strike, and then a curveball in the inner half to get the second strike to work herself back into it. Has to execute a good pitch here. If you worked your way back into it to this point, finish her off here.
Upstairs, ball 4. And now the game-tying run will come to the plate in the form of Vivi Martinez, who has already homered twice in this series. And Trisha Ford perhaps will go to her bullpen here.
The reason why I would have gone to it the hitter before is just to try to shut down that momentum after the Caden Henry double, to not risk Texas getting more momentum and getting another run on with the best home run hitters coming up soon in this inning.
It will be Sydney Peters coming in to relieve. We will step aside. Texas A&M with a 3-run lead on the reigning national champs, #1 Texas Longhorns. Trisha Ford making a change in the circle. It is not Sydney Peters, it is Grace Sparks, the second-year transfer from Ole Miss.
Yeah, and she's bringing her in to throw a ground ball out in this situation. Grace Sparks, her go-to pitch is her drop ball that she throws 65% of the time. We'll mix in her rise ball and a changeup here and there. Guaranteed we will not be seeing a rise ball in this situation. She is here to throw her drop ball with a force out at third and a potential double play opportunity for A&M's infield to get 2 outs on 1 pitch on 1 Grace Sparks drop ball.
Strike one to Vivi Martinez, who has been red hot over the last 2 weeks. First season back after a torn knee, sidelined her last year. Sends this into the gap in right center, down for extra bases. Texas will waive both runners. It's a one-run game in Austin.
The first pitch was too elevated for a drop ball, and this pitch is too elevated. That is a mistake. There's no down movement to it. It is flat and right into the beautiful swing of Vivi Martinez, who crushes that mistake. She has been an extra base hits machine in this series this weekend. Gets Texas within 1 run now of A&M's 4.
10 runs batted in during her 9-game hit streak. And now the tying run in scoring position for Reese Atwood, who had the eventual game-winning home run yesterday in Game 2 to take the series for the Longhorns. Atwood, bouncing ball, is snared at third by the 3-year starter, Kennedy Powell.
That's just a fantastic read right off the bat and a grab. I thought all day long off the bat that was going to be going through the 5-6 hole or a tough backhand for the shortstop at A&M, KK DeMent. An important second out. Great job by Kennedy Powell, who has leveled up her game in all aspects of her game, especially defensively at the hot corner.
Time called by Trisha Ford.
We'll see if A&M makes another pitching change.
Well, it's Katie Stewart due up for the Longhorns. Of course, later on tomorrow night, 2 more Elite 8 matchups on ESPN and the ESPN app. Michigan against #1 Texas, trying to get back to the Final Four for the 2nd straight year. And then in the nightcap, South Carolina against TCU. Both available on the app as well as right here on ESPN. We will have a pinch runner for Vivi Martinez, with Katie Stewart coming to the plate. Adea Wallace represents the game-tying run. Stewart this year has been the offensive leader in all the major categories for Texas. Hits, homers, runs batted in. Looks at ball 1.
I think the conversation was when Trisha Ford came out with Grace Sparks is you have to locate your drop ball. You cannot leave it up and over the plate to this home run hitter in Katie Stewart.
Ball will get away from Kowalewski. Wallace over to third.
Well, A&M looking like trying to pitch around Katie Stewart with that runner at second base. At first pitch open, a couple of drop balls that were in the dirt. One so far out of the zone. It gets away from Kowalewski to advance 60 feet closer to tying this game.
Stewart up the middle, back on it, it's short. DeMent deep in the hole, gets the out to get A&M out of the inning with a 1-run lead.
But Vivi Martinez, great weekend. Extra base hit after extra base hit continues. A 2 RBI double for Martinez, her 5th extra base hit of this series.
Well, Amanda mentioned it a couple of innings ago. There's been a lot of eyebrow raisers around the country. Ole Miss, their first series win in Knoxville in school history. LSU did lose the series to Oklahoma today, but they earned a win in the series. First time against the Sooners since 2015. 3 golden tickets were handed out for the AUSL draft. 2 of those after yesterday's game to Reese Atwood and Leanne Good of Texas.
Yeah, so with that AUSL golden ticket, if you received one, it means that you are going to get drafted in the AUSL draft in the month of May. You just don't know which team yet. Added 2 expansion teams, so a total of 6 AUSL teams now having home-based locations. And Leanne Good, who got one after Reese Atwood yesterday in the post-game ceremony, was quite surprised to get her own.
That was fun to see live. She almost gasped when they announced her name. And then to celebrate with all of her teammates, that's one of the cool aspects of the golden ticket deal is, you know, a lot of times with these professional drafts, these players are in auditoriums. Their teammates are nowhere near them. They get texts from their teammates. But this is a totally different deal, Amanda.
Yeah, so Kim Ng, the commissioner of the AUSL, stuck around right after giving Reese Atwood one to then go on to announce Leanne Good's golden ticket. You just saw her surprised face, genuine shock. I think everybody who was watching knew Reese Atwood was going to get one as soon as you saw the ceremony starting, but for Leanne Good to get one was extra special. Well, twofer last night with the golden ticket.
Nine-hitter Frankie Vrajel trying to turn it over for Kennedy Powell. A&M has not scored against Tegan Cavan since a solo homer to lead off the second inning.
When we talked about that, how important it was going to be for their offense to continue to score. Another outing in this game here, now 3rd game in a row where A&M is out hitting Texas. And yet it's still a close game. A&M has 8 hits and Texas just has the 4.
100 pitches on the day for Cavan. A&M did get her into hot water last inning, had the bases loaded with 2 outs, unable to capitalize. Cavan has picked herself up off the mat and given the #1 Longhorns a chance in this game, in which they trailed by as many as 3 runs on 2 separate occasions.
And this is the 4th game that Cavan has pitched in this week. She had to enter in relief in that close game against Texas State for the later innings, and then pitch in every game here.
Fly ball off the bat of Vrajel is down for a base hit. Going to try to turn it for 2. Is in before the tag. A 1-out double to turn the lineup over for Texas A&M.
Yeah, so that's big that Vrajel was able to fight off this pitch up in the zone, and even bigger that she's able to get herself to second base. A 2-strike hit for Vrajel, did not hesitate once she got to first base. So barely snuck her hand in at second base for that double, but did not hesitate, and that's what helped make her safe for that double.
And her 7th double of the year. And now Kennedy Powell, 4th time in this game alone seeing Cavan. Did not go on the appeal to 3rd, says Robbie Guest.
It is just so tempting to want to swing at that rise ball and go up and get it. And it is the difference maker for whether you have success against Cavan or she has success against you.
Kennedy Powell has reached base in 39 consecutive games dating back to last year. Came into this season with a stated goal to be an All-American. And has worked tirelessly, not only on her craft defensively, but especially at the plate, with A&M hitting coach Jeff Harger. Take strike one.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen her show bunt a little bit more in this series. She's really leaned on her slap. You talked about her swinging away and working on that in the fall, where she just only worked on that. Didn't bunt, didn't slap, only worked on swinging away with her hitting coach, Jeff Harger.
Laser in the left field. They will wave Vrajel. She'll score without a throw. Back-to-back doubles for the Aggies.
But why bunt when you can hit in the gap for a double and trade places with your teammate? Back-to-back doubles for A&M here with the 9-1 hitters as Kennedy Powell gets on plane with that rise ball and drives it to the left center field gap. A power slap that's going to score Vrajel easily. They trade places, and now Perez, one of the best home run hitters in the SEC, is going to come up with the runner in scoring position.
Perez 0 for 3 today against Cavan. 2 of those line drives to left field. Wind is blowing out, Amanda. This is quintessential conditions for Maya Perez.
It just comes to a point as a hitter where you know what you're capable of. And I think that Maya Perez, despite having to hit in both of the games before this one in this series, just hasn't quite been herself. And it gets to a point as a hitter where you decide, I'm going to go up and be better. I'm going to go up with a better approach. And the start to that approach is taking these rise balls that Cavan has thrown her with a very confident, calm take as they're looking like they're trying to work around her with first base open. But she's also not helping her and chasing that rise ball.
Takes a walk on 4 pitches.
Definitely thought that one was a strike, and it looked like they were trying to pitch around her and pitch out of the zone until that 3-0 low rise ball inside that Perez got the call, first base open, put her on, but I thought that likely could have been a strike.
Time called by Reese Atwood. Patty Ruth Taylor going to come out for Texas. Well, tonight, the final UFL kickoff weekend matchup debuts the Columbus Aviators taking on the Orlando Storm, 8 Eastern, right here on ESPN, and of course, the ESPN app. All the sports this spring right here on ESPN. And all the offense in this series for A&M. They came into the day batting .357 against Texas hitting. That has just continued. 10 hits in this game for the Aggies. 11 extra base hits in this series. They have been fantastic.
We were wondering if Tegan Cavan was going to get the start, or they're going to go to somebody like Cam Salmon or Sitlali Gutierrez to get the start and bring Cavan in from relief. I mean, I really thought she was going to pitch today. I just don't know if I got to the field thinking that she was going to start today with the win that they had in game 1 and game 2 and having the series won, maybe starting somebody else and giving them some time.
Hard hit up the middle. That'll find center field. Powell waved around from second base. Makes it a 3-run lead again for Texas A&M on an RBI single by Ariel Kowalewski.
Well, and both times that Texas has scored now, A&M has answered right back. A hard ground ball right up the middle of the field, using a hard ground, that big hop to get it right past the middle infielders. 4 hits in a row now for A&M. Sorry, Perez walked. 3 out of the last 4 hitters have gotten ahead. Why did I write down single there? Nobody will know. Long weekend.
You were trying to will it for her. She's been pitched around a lot this year.
She has.
Had 8 walks in the last series against Kentucky. This series, Cavan's gone after her a little bit more. Perez has not been the one to hurt Texas, but so many others in the A&M lineup have, including Michaela Wark. 3 for 3 day as she is down in the count 1-2 here.
This is where you could really break it open with somebody like Wark up. That was a big pitch for Kavan to get ahead in a pitcher's count 1-2.
Check swing, appeal. She went around, according to Robbie Guest. Second out of the inning, 6th strikeout for Kavan.
Getting the home run hitter in between in a check swing that could go one way or the other, but Kavan gets the call. That is a massive out with 2 runners on to get Wark, the home run hitter, chasing out of the zone for the rise ball.
Mike White out of the dugout, perhaps. They will make a change in the circle before Talon Edwards comes to the plate. 116 pitches for Kavan today. And they will go to the pen with 2 outs. Fourth straight game that Tegan Kavan has pitched for Texas. And she's thrown over 100 pitches twice in this series. We'll pass the ball to Hannah Wells, who was fantastic yesterday. 5 2/3, allowed just the 2 runs. The fabulous two-way freshman will relieve it here in the 6th. We'll step aside and tell you more about her when we come back.
Exclusively on ESPN, 40-plus NCAA championships. Confetti rains. Nets are cut. Joy erupts. Hardware is hoisted. History happens here on ESPN, home of NCAA championships.
Back in Austin, Texas, Tegan Kavan's day is done after 5 2/3, 11 hits, 6 earned runs through 115 pitches. Second time in the series throwing at least 100 pitches to the Aggies. Passes the ball to Hannah Wells.
Yeah, the freshman entering in, she pitched very well in her start yesterday, went deep into that game against A&M, and then Tegan Kavan came in relief of her, but pitched fantastic, just gave up those 2 earned runs. And her ball was moving yesterday. She came in to Texas as a freshman, really known just to be a thrower, of being able to hit 70 miles an hour.
Boy, Mike White has fired up this crowd and perhaps his team. And this has been building, Amanda. Rick Cowan has heard it all afternoon from Mike White, has not appreciated what he believes is inconsistency in the strike zone, and he has been tossed. And this may be as much about his disagreement with the strike zone as it is lighting a fire onto the #1 team in the country.
Yeah, he came firing out of there, had just had enough. And I felt like the strike zone was pretty solid to start this game.
Ground ball is off the glove. It's short into center field. Vivi Martinez unable to hang on to it, and Golden will score as A&M pushes the lead to 4.
It's a big run for A&M. Hit this drop ball hard right up the middle of the field, and Vivi Martinez just cannot keep it on the dirt. So as soon as it gets away from her and it hits off of her glove, they're able to score from second base. So a hard hit ground ball, looks to the dugout, getting fired up right after Texas gets fired up. That's a big response after this crowd was getting into it.
It's the loudest we've heard this crowd today at McCombs Field.
But it felt like the strike zone was fairly consistent to start the game, and as the game has gone on, I do think that there's been some more missed pitches in some very key situations.
Well, the Aggies will pinch run yet again at second base. They have 2 on here and 2 out in the 6th, and Patty Ruth Taylor has come out to try and settle her defense.
You know, that from Mike White, we're used to seeing intensity in these rivalry series, especially between Texas and A&M. I will say, I mean, they've been close games and back and forth games, 2 one-run games that we've had in this series to start it, but I mean, it's been pretty actually calm for the most part in a rivalry game. You just never know what you're going to get, but it's definitely the most intensity. It wasn't even really toward A&M, obviously. It was more toward the umpire getting this crowd involved.
This crowd's so fired up, they're booing Rick Cowan for going out to break up the meeting in the circle. There's been great crowds all weekend here in Austin for a rivalry renewed. First time that the Lone Star Showdown has been played in the regular season since 2012. It is Ansley Gross pinch running for A&M at second. And ball 2 to Kelsey Mathis. Mathis high hopper deep in the hole at second. Good, has to glove and throw quickly, and not quickly enough. Bases loaded for A&M.
What an interesting hit that you don't see all the time. That high hop that was created from the ground just gave Mathis enough time to get to first base, but right off the ground in front of home plate, good hustle by her to now load the bases for A&M again in this game.
Oh, 1 count to KK Demet.
And this is really another important at bat that KK Demet is coming up with to face. Second time that she's come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
And has already homered today. Led off the second with a solo blast to left.
And with Texas's offense and just how these games have gone in the past, you want every single run that's out on the bases right now for insurance, especially when you're playing on the road.
Ten of the last 11 meetings in this series on this field have been decided by 1 run. Both games in this series until now have been decided by 1 run. Texas with the 2-0 edge in the series, riding a 29-game win streak. Good eye by Demet. 2-2. Little dribbler off the end of the bat. Will be a tough play at third, and it gets away from Stewart. 2 runs will score. They will hold Mathis at third. 9-3 A&M.
Hannah Wells has this crazy off-speed pitch that has been so effective for her in this series, and she throws it to Dement. Lots of spin, hit off the end of the bat. It can't be more off the end of the bat. Spins like crazy. Lawson, who entered in over at third base, another freshman for JC Nichols. Just the pressure is put on her to make the throw on the run and pulls Katie Stewart off. And now extra runs score for A&M as they now have another big inning in this game. A 5 spot here in the top of the 6th.
So runners at the corners for Maddie Sowney, pinch hitting for Paisley Allen. High fly ball, right side of the infield. Stewart gloves to end the inning. A big inning at that for A&M. 5 runs in the 6th. Aggies threatening to end the nation's longest active win streak. Texas has not lost since February 7th. Down 6 with 2 half innings remaining. Now, slowly but surely, Tricia Ford has built Texas A&M back up to being a perennial power. 35 wins in her first season in 2023. Made their first super since 2018 in her second season. Last year earned a #1 national seed in the NCAA tournament, first in program history. The other side of the coin was that they became the first #1 overall seed to lose in a regional. And now they're trying to shake that off as a program and trying to shake off 2 one-run losses in this series. Boy, have they to this point. A 6-run lead for A&M as we enter the bottom of the 6th.
Just continued progression in Tricia Ford's time at A&M. And you look at their record in SEC play. She has not had a below 500 record in this toughest conference in the nation.
Sydney Lessentine into the circle. Went the distance yesterday. Pitched really well. Gave A&M a chance to win that game. Only allowed 3 runs in a complete game loss to the Longhorns.
Yeah, she looked fantastic yesterday. It's not easy to go up against this lineup for a complete game, and 2 of the 3 runs were earned runs against her. You see her really growing up this year and taking on a lot of the innings, coming in for relief appearances, getting a lot of starts. Last year, when they grabbed that #1 national seed, as you mentioned, Emily Kennedy had been the ace of the staff for 4 years in Lessington and got to kind of play a different role. Now this season, when you graduate that ace, other pitchers have to step up and step into new roles. And just as a sophomore, Sydney Lessington has done a great job of having more pressure, maybe more expectations put on her, and kind of rising and getting better as this season has gone on.
Fly ball into left field off the bat of Wells. Caught for the first out. Well, the Longhorns start a massive 3-game series against #7 Alabama Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central at Rhodes Stadium in Tuscaloosa.
So that series is tricky because it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series because of Easter. So game 3 will also be on ESPN. So that'll be a big matchup on Saturday with Texas and Alabama facing each other in one of the best stadiums to watch a game in the Rhodes Stadium in Tuscaloosa.
That place will be rocking.
Oh yeah.
Quickly 2 gone. You'd think even if Texas is unable to mount the comeback here, they'd stick with the #1 team in the country. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hadn't thought about yet. I'm gonna vote for on my top 25 rankings this week, but I think with everybody else losing and beating up on each other, I think Texas very well could be the #1 team again going into next week.
31-1. The lone blemish of February 7th loss to Nebraska. Best start in program history, longest win streak currently in program history at 29 games.
Maybe it's Texas Tech takes that #1 spot.
The team Texas beat in the national championship last year. Of course, Oklahoma coming off a series win against LSU. Tennessee did drop the series to Ole Miss, so they will not be a contender for the #1 spot after this weekend.
And Texas Tech has just kind of been cruising.
Yes,
kinda
they have.
Flying under the radar. They're supposed to play that midweek game against Florida State that I know everybody was looking forward to a week or 2 ago, and just had to cancel that game due to some bad travel situations. And I think we all remember that week and the travel situations that happened, so they couldn't get to Florida. They handedly swept Iowa State this weekend in Lubbock. All 3 games against Iowa State. Run rules. The Texas Tech offense is something.
Flair to the right side, and a 1-2-3 inning for Lessington. Texas trails by 6 as we enter the 7th. Back in Austin, rivalry renewed. 15th ranked Texas A&M on the verge of handing #1 Texas their first loss since early February. We welcome you back into the booth. Matt Schumacher, the former Aggie All-American, Amanda Scarborough with you. What are your thoughts about the way that A&M has come out in Game 3, particularly coming off back-to-back 2 one-run losses?
Yeah, it's been about the response, and I think that you've seen the response from those 2 tough losses. I mean, it's tough to feel like you're in it against a #1 team and still lose, even though you know that you're hitting better against them when you look at the offensive numbers. So it's just been their response. Every time Texas has scored, A&M has answered right back. And in order to beat a team like Texas that you know is not going to go away, you have to continue to keep your foot on the gas pedal offensively against them and keep putting runs on the board. And I think, too, as a player, you're well aware when somebody has a win streak like what Texas has going with 29 games, as you mentioned, the longest win streak, active win streak in the country going on right now. And you know you're playing the #1 team. I mean, that's a double whammy when you have a chance to beat your rival, the #1 team, and break up a win streak. As a player, you want that.
Frankie Vragel got the 6th inning rally started with a double off the wall. A&M plated 5 runs in the 6th, breaking this game open. And they've just had a fight to them today that has been very impressive. Every time Texas has climbed back into this game, A&M has had a response. A&M coming into the day 3-9 against ranked foes. Really feeling like they did enough in certain aspects of the game over the first 2 games of this series, but not enough as a whole. Today they have put it all together, pitching, defense, and offense. And they maintain a 6-run lead here in the 7th.
Well, when it comes down to the month of May and there's a selection show and the NCAA bracket comes out, wins like these are important for a team like A&M that will likely be on the cusp of whether they grab a 16, 15, 14 national seed, kind of what it's looking like right now. When you look at the RPI and you look at their resume, there's going to be a lot of teams that are in a very similar spot as A&M. So getting a win over a team like Texas, which the ranking in terms of the number being next to their name doesn't matter, but their RPI does.
Good piece of hitting there by Kennedy Powell. Taking it through the left side of the infield. Her 3rd time aboard today. Certainly, Tricia Ford's team does have plenty of opportunities to bolster that resume.
They've played a tough schedule already. Of course, they'll finish out this series here against #1 Texas and then take on Georgia next weekend at home. But every win that you can have against a ranked opponent or a quad 1 opponent, whatever you want to call it, top 25 in the RPI opponent, I mean, that's a big deal for your resume. There's going to be a lot of similar resumes come May.
And that series at Ole Miss, while it may not be necessarily against the top 25 team, we saw Ole Miss be very tricky this weekend on the road at Tennessee. First series win in Knoxville ever in program history for the Rebels.
Well, and even A&M's 2 wins against LSU start to look a little bit better when they beat Oklahoma this weekend. So those 2 wins against LSU and Baton Rouge look better for A&M. And then you have an opportunity to play Ole Miss and potentially get some wins there that, as you mentioned, beat Tennessee.
One count to Maya Perez, runner on, 1 down. A&M trying to get back to the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2017. And of course, we all know how important it is if you want to get to Oklahoma City to, at the very least, host a regional. And the statistics show, too, that there is a clear advantage if you're able to host a super in terms of getting to that Women's College World Series. Two gone as Powell moves up to second base. Of course, Ole Miss bucked that trend last year, didn't they? Taking down Arkansas, they reached the Women's College World Series for the first time in program history, doing it with a super regional road win, so it can be done. But the road is easier if you're able to host.
First Women's College World Series appearance in program history, and they did it with just battling on the road. The regional was on the road in Arizona as well.
Two down for Ariel Kowalewski. Not only does A&M have the 29-game win streak, they've also won 19 in a row at home. A&M trying to break up multiple streaks here for Texas. Kowalewski to second base. Good to first. That'll do it for the top of the seventh. Longhorns will bring 9-1 and 2 to the plate, down 6. Longhorns down to their final 3 outs. Texas seeking their 30th consecutive victory, already in the midst of the longest win streak in program history at 29. Meanwhile, A&M looking for their first regular season victory against the Longhorns since 2009. They, of course, did beat the Longhorns last year, 14-2 in the SEC tournament. A&M coming off their first SEC tournament championship in program history, and now have a chance to take down the #1 team in the country. 3 outs remain for the Longhorns, down 6.
Well, and quick reminder too that A&M and Texas did not play in the regular season between the, once A&M moved to the SEC. Sure. So the last regular season win was 2009, but there were many years in there, over a decade, that they didn't even play each other in the regular season. But that's still quite a stat.
First time that we've gotten the Lone Star Showdown in the regular season, Amanda, since 2012. This needs to be a yearly thing, doesn't it?
Amen, brother. Needs to happen every year. We need these rivalries that are these interconference rivalries, and not just A&M and Texas, but think about the rivalries in the history within the SEC conference. That there are just teams that need to be playing each other every year, like even Alabama, Auburn. That should be happening every year. OU, Texas, every year.
If you're just tuning in for the first time in this series, this score currently is not indicative at all of how tight not only this game has been, but this series has been. Texas won the first 2 games by 1 run. 10 of the last 11 games played on this field in this series have been decided by 1 run. And it was a 1-run game until a 5-run 6th for A&M. Really breaking it open for the Aggies.
Walk-off win for Texas with that home field advantage. I feel like these two teams haven't played in College Station in forever. I feel like every time that they've played recently has been right here in Austin, this field. A lot of meetings in the postseason.
Leadoff walk from Kaya Altmaier in her first at bat of the day. And we'll flip the lineup over for Caden Henry. Sydney Lessentine back in the circle, came in to relieve Grace Sparks in the 6th, went 1-2-3, but is now taking on one of the hardest portions of any lineup in the country, starting with Henry, who shoots that fair down the left field line. Altmaier will hold at third, 2 in scoring position with nobody out in the 7th for Texas.
You know Texas isn't going to go away easily at all, especially with the veterans coming up in the order now as Caden Henry sinks deep into her legs to hit this changeup so hard. Great recognition and adjustment by her to power that down the left side, and now 2 on for Texas, still down by 6. But I mean, if you're going to make a comeback, this is exactly where you want to be in your order.
Leanne Good, 2 on, nobody out. Big swing from the starting second baseman. Good, seeking her first hit of game 3, has twice walked and come around to score. Down in the count 1-2. The senior from San Antonio, Texas, one of 26 players in this series this weekend from the state, playing in the rivalry they grew up on. 2-2 from Lessentine. Good has had a masterful season at the plate in her senior year, batting 170 points higher than her previous career high. Takes the 2-2 into right. Vrajel is there. Altmaier will tag from third. Henry moves up to third, and Texas chips away at the deficit.
Now you face arguably the hottest hitter in the lineup in Vivi Martinez, and then on deck and in the hole, the 2 best home run hitters, and Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart.
Strike one to Vivi Martinez, whose last at bat resulted in a double, driving in 2 runs, extending her hit streak to 9 games. Has driven in 10 runs over this stretch. Lifts the 0-1 down the line and left and just foul.
Now, there's weekly awards in every conference, and you'd think that Vivi Martinez is definitely going to be a candidate for SEC Player of the Week with what she's done against A&M this weekend.
A .467 career hitter against A&M. Down on the count 0-2.
You know, good teams just never make it easy on you to finish. I think, oh, a 6-run lead going into 7th, but good teams just do not quit.
Martinez high hopper, gloved at second base. Well, what a play by Talon Edwards. 2 gone. It does score Henry from third. And now a 4-run deficit for the Longhorns down to their final out.
The catcher, number 14, Reese Atwood.
Bases clear for Reese Atwood, and Trisha Ford will come out of the Aggie dugout. This is not a young lady to fool around with in the box. She will make you pay as much as any hitter in the country. Has already homered in this series. In fact, had the eventual game-winning home run of Game 2 yesterday.
Off of Sydney Lessentine. So I think conversation there with Trisha Ford, knowing that she hit a home run off of her yesterday and just wants to see Sydney Lessentine pitch her well to try to finish off this game.
Would you attack her?
Yeah, up by 4 runs, I would, but I think even at this point you say attack her, and it doesn't mean necessarily just throw it right down the middle. If you're Trisha Ford, yeah, you've got a 4-run lead, but you want to see your sophomore go up against an All-American and throw some quality pitches, not just serve it up and just see her hit a home run just because you're up by 4 runs. You want to see her develop and grow and get experience in an at-bat like this that you know will last her long-term in the season.
Atwood crushes the 2-0 to deep left. See you later off the wall in left field. Three-run game in Austin. 14th home run of the year for Reese Atwood.
This is middle. An absolute mistake. Reese Atwood did not chase the first 2 pitches. Lessentine trying to be too perfect. Atwood getting a mistake. She is the best home run hitter in Texas history. Hits it off of the building behind left field that I'm sure she has done, I mean, I would say probably over 100 times at practice and in games just in the history of playing here. 69 career home runs for Reese Atwood, the best to do it in that Longhorn uniform.
And remains the NCAA active leader in career runs batted in. Keeps this game alive for the #1 team in the country and keeps, at least for now, the nation's longest active win streak alive at 29 games for Texas.
Well, and it's so easy to think, Matt, that these at-bats in what was a 6-run game in the 7th inning for the pitcher and the defense and the hitters, that, oh, they just don't matter. It's, you know, A&M won this game. They're up by 6 in the 7th inning. But Reese Atwood is trying to gain confidence in the box after what seemed like a little bit of a tough time for her before she entered this series. So now 2 home runs in this series. That at-bat still down by 5 means a lot for Reese Atwood and this Texas team to get her back on track. And it also means a lot for Sydney Lessentine to figure out how she can get these final outs against a good team even when her team has a 6-run lead.
2-1 to Katie Stewart. Equally as dangerous in the box as Reese Atwood. She too is top 10 amongst active career RBI leaders in the country. Lessentines 2-2. Launched into right field. Headed towards the wall. It's back-to-back jacks for the Longhorns. The #1 team in the country is not done yet. 17th bomb of the year for Katie Stewart.
Sitting back on this changeup, they are just not as fooled with Sydney Lessentine's changeup today. Maybe they picked it, maybe they're looking for it, but the hitted changeup the opposite way shows you the kind of power Katie Stewart has. An exceptional junior year. You'd say breakout. I mean, she's really good her freshman and sophomore years, but these numbers that she's putting up in her junior year are just even way better than what she did as a freshman and sophomore.
And still, the inning continues now for Hannah Wells. How do you refocus in the circle if you're Lessentine, allowing this 6-run lead to dwindle to 2?
To be able just to make one pitch and know that if you make one pitch, you win this game. It just sounds, so easy, but this is why the final outs, in my opinion, no matter if you have a 6-run lead or a 1-run lead, the final 3 outs are just always the toughest to get for a pitcher.
Texas again down to its final strike. Pop up in foul territory. Kowalewski gloves, and A&M has ended the longest active win streak in the country at 29 games.
Great fight from A&M today after 2 heartbreaking 1-run losses by a very solid Texas team, and Texas just sure did not go away in this game. It did not make it easy.
Just the 2nd loss of the year for the #1 team in the country. They do take the Lone Star Showdown Series, but A&M steals Game 3, their first win against the #1 team this year.